If you have anxiety to any degree, this one's for you. A lot of times, anxiety shows up as a what if. Your mind fears the worst case scenario. What if I say the wrong thing to the wrong person? What if I show up late and lose my job? What if I blow a tire on the way to work? These things just stack up one on top of the other, and the more they pile up, the more anxious you feel. Here's a technique I share with my clients that can really help. First, become aware of what these anxious thoughts are when you're having them. So that's identifying when those symptoms of anxiety are presenting in your body and tell yourself, I'm feeling anxious right now. And then ask yourself, why am I feeling anxious right now? And answer that question. Slow yourself down, pick the actual what if that your brain is stuck on, and then validate it. So step one, validate the thought. Ask yourself, does it make sense to me to be anxious about this? Because normally, yeah, blowing a tire on the way to work would be stressful. Losing a job would create financial pressure. And saying the wrong thing to someone could impact a relationship. There's a reason that your brain is going there. Maybe you've experienced something similar before. Maybe it's a real fear that you carry. But either way, this validation matters. It helps your nervous system settle instead of fighting itself. A lot of times what happens is you have the initial fearful thought, and then you tell yourself you're crazy for thinking it in the hopes that it settles the anxiety feeling. It doesn't. It actually creates a battle inside you where one part of you is now fighting to convince the other part of you that it really should feel fearful for this thing. So stop fighting yourself. Validate the fear. And number two is solve it. So solve the fear. If your worst case thing did happen, what would you do? If I lost the friendship, I would grieve it and then I'd put more energy into friendships I have. If I lost my job, I would pivot and start looking for a new one. If I blew a tire, I'd call for help, or I would change my tire on the side of the road in the rain. You're reminding your brain that you're capable of solving problems. And you are, right? We couldn't even count how many problems you've probably solved up until now in your life. Last step. Take a step back and look at the situation objectively. Ask yourself, how likely is it that this outcome is realistically going to happen? Because most of the time, it's not very likely. But here's what changes. Even if your brain still brings up the thought, it doesn't feel paralyzing anymore because you've already walked yourself through all of these steps. You've shown your brain that you can handle things even if they don't go perfectly. So step one, validate the fear. Step two, play out the problem solving in the case that the worst case scenario does occur. And step three, see the situation objectively and realize how unlikely the worst case scenario actually is. Try this, let me know if it helps, and if you do something different to settle your anxiety, let me know it works for you.